Good evening. Glad that you are watching your channel of choice on the news tonight. Tonight, police failed to arrest suspected robbers at Equity Bank in Kisumu after hours of standoff. There was a standoff in the botched robbery attempt.
Wale watu wote walikuwa kwa bank. Tuchukue wote tupeleke kwa police station ili tuweze kusearch tujue ni nani alihusika.
Detectives are set to review CCTV footage and grill staff and customers. Also tonight, all is set for the 7th and last annual Devolution conference in Makueni, which kicks off tomorrow. Plus, Kenya and South Africa form a presidential task force to address visa-related issues between the two countries.
The progress made so far towards the realization of reciprocal visa-free travel regimes between our two countries.
Faith Muikamba is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abubakar Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Tonight we begin our broadcast from the lakeside city of Kisumu, where business operations came to a standstill for the better part of Tuesday along Angawa Avenue in Kisumu as a standoff ensued between police officers and 4 suspected robbers at the Equity Bank for more than 4 hours. Gunshots rent the air as police officers pursued the suspected criminals. But as David Mudoka now reports, the suspects are said to have escaped from the bank, masquerading as bank clients.
For the better part of Tuesday, these were the scenes outside Equity Bank Angawa Avenue branch in Kisumu. An area that is normally buzzing with business activities was today buzzing with an altogether different commotion caused by curious onlookers. This as a standoff ensued between tens of police officers and 4 suspected robbers who for hours remained holed up inside the bank. According to witnesses, the robbers made their way inside the bank minutes past 11 a.m. and handed a teller a note demanding her to surrender an unspecified amount of cash.
Hapo ndani ya bank kuna tear gas ilirushwa. Na wakati hiyo tear gas ilirushwa, ilileta msisimuko kwa wale customers wale walikuwa ndani.
Upon lobbing tear gas canisters at other clients, a melee was witnessed inside the bank, resulting into police officers, uniformed and plain-clothed, all armed to the teeth, to rush to the scene. In no time, the bank that was now an active crime scene was cordoned off, and for 4 hours, police lay siege. Gunshots from police rent the air intermittently as other police officers scaled the wall in an attempt to flush out the robbery suspects, who are said to have been holed up in the building's first floor. The efforts will, however, be in vain as the robbers gave the officers a sleep after masquerading as bank clients.
Tukakubaliana na regional police commander, wale watu wote walikuwa kwa bank. Tuchukue wote tupeleke kwa police station ili tuweze kusearch tujue ni nani alihusika. So as we are talking, most of the people are at the police station. We want after this to go and do another search.
How the 4 suspected robbers escaped, as well as whether they made away with cash, is a mystery that the police are seeking to solve. This, as reports indicate, that nobody was injured in the 4-hour-long incident. David Mudoka, TV47.
Elsewhere, all is set for the 7th and final annual Devolution conference in Makueni County. There were heightened activities in the county ahead of the conference, with Governor Kivutha Kibwana signing a pact with British government through its High Commissioner Jane Marriott, signing a partnership with the Southeastern Counties Economic Bloc. This comes as governors have called for the involvement of counties in combating terror attacks.
Not just supporting Makueni and these 3 counties alone, they're working to support all the 7 economic blocks. And this is in keeping with the fact that at the national level, the Ministry of Devolution has been developing the policy of the economic blocks. At Bomas, we were not able to get the regions accepted. And so although we have 47 counties, which are very dear to Kenyans in the various counties, but it's important to organize several counties together so that there can be economies of scale in terms of investments, in terms of development, in terms of doing common things.
Security as a function squarely lies in the hands of national government. But we feel that we have a critical role to play, and more particularly now that we're headed towards electioneering period. We want to see how counties can be involved with what we define as soft approach. Communities engaged, civil society, and other government institutions that will enable us to create some kind of a seamless structure for us to participate actively in achieving peace and security within our counties and beyond.
We have international speakers that are going to talk on serious subjects, and this coming after the Glasgow conference that just ended about a week ago. We are the first country in the world to actually hold a conference after Glasgow, and in a sense it was a blessing in disguise that this conference didn't take place in March last year or even in August, that it's taking place immediately after Glasgow, because we now understand the deliberations and the communique that came out of it in the broader context of the Paris Agreement that is ongoing up to 2025.
Well, and to understand how the situation is like in Makueni County, we are now joined by our news editor, Eric Munene, who is on that beat. Eric, it's down to the wire tonight, is it?
Well, thank you very much, Abubakar. I can hear you very clearly. Everything is now set for the 7th annual and final devolution conference. And right now I'm joined by Embu Governor Martin Wambora, who also happens to be the Council of Governors chairperson, just to tell us what to expect for the next 2 days. Karibu sana, Governor.
Thank you very much for TV47. I'm happy to be here. And I can assure you that the 7th and final devolution conference, we are ready for it.
Well, Governor, I know a lot of focus is going to be placed on, issues and matters climate change. What else can people expect to take center stage during the conference?
Definitely, that is the theme, the climate challenges. That will be the theme, and that's what we shall be emphasizing here. But we shall also be discussing the success of devolution in the last 9 years. That one we shall be highlighting it. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Governor Wambora. I understand he has to go. He is a very, very busy person by virtue of him being, the chair of the Council of Governors. So we'll be interacting with other people, other attendees of the conference, and we'll be bringing you more updates as and when things get updated. Back to you, Abubakar.
Well, thank you. That is our news editor, Eric Munene, who is joining us live from Makueni County, where the county's television will be covering for you again live the 7th and final devolution conference ahead of the 2022 polls. Remember, this conference is coming at the backdrop of the Glasgow COP26, in which the main focus was on climate change. Equally, this conference is themed around climate change and its mitigation to that extent. TV47 will be live covering for you that. Remember, you can be part of these broadcasts. Send us a message on 22047. The hashtag to use is NEWSTONIGHT. For the next 3 days, we will be pitching camp in Makueni County, where we will be covering the 7th and final devolution conference ahead of the 2022 polls. Remember, the theme of this year's conference is largely on climate change, coming at the backdrop of the global summit that occurred and was held in Glasgow, Scotland. Let's get to more news. And Kenyans will soon be allowed to travel to South Africa without a visa. This comes after a presidential task force was formed to look into the matter. And as Elizabeth Atieno now reports, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa have signed 8 memorandum of understanding to strengthen bilateral ties between the two countries.
President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is in South Africa for a 3-day state visit, has cited trade imbalance as the main impediment to trade between the two countries.
Further, noting that trade between our two countries is currently hugely in favor of South Africa, we should agree to task technical teams to propose measures that our two countries could adopt to address the trade imbalance. I want to encourage South African businesses to consider investing more in the full portfolio of opportunities to unlock the latent potential of our cooperation.
Each of our countries has the indigenous knowledge and expertise to benefit the other. These efforts to strengthen economic ties are not possible without the facilitation of movement of people between our two countries.
We have approximately 100 business people, both regulators and private business, who will be coming for the business forum. This is a big opportunity because trade and trade-related matters and investment are of great importance to both our countries. And this is an area that we are looking forward to strengthening, to deepening, and indeed to cementing.
During the bilateral talks, President Kenyatta and Ramaphosa agreed to set up a presidential task force team to expedite visa-free travel for Kenyans traveling to South Africa.
So with this in mind, I would indeed appreciate the progress made so far towards the realization of reciprocal visa-free travel regimes between our two countries be looked at, for this will certainly act as a catalyst to boosting trade and investment between our two brotherly countries for the mutual benefit of our people.
This memorandum of understanding being signed will be the precursor to establishing a visa-free regime for Kenyans coming to South Africa, which will be reciprocal because South Africans are able to go into Kenya without visas.
The 8 agreements signed by President Kenyatta and Ramaphosa include MOUs in transport, health, trade, investment, diplomatic consultations and training, as well as tourism and migration. On matters health, President Kenyatta has commended South Africa for being at the forefront in fighting COVID-19, especially in the manufacturing of vaccines.
We in Kenya aim to start local production of COVID-19 vaccines during the first quarter of 2022 with the aim of developing a fully fledged vaccine manufacturing capacity by 2024.
In this regard, the head of state is expected to tour the Aspen company in Pretoria.
So this is of particular interest to His Excellency the President and of course the Minister of Health to be able to engage with this company that has already started manufacturing the J&J vaccine.
Elizabeth Atieno, TV47.
Thank you, Elizabeth Atieno, for that report. You're watching TV47 News Tonight. Time for us to take a short break. Stay with us. We still have a lot for you.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. Every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Men are known to be the pillars.
We're rising up together.
Say your point.
You need an alpha male now to come and help you and your girl.
Ameongea zero.
And women, they are the cornerstone that hold the pillars.
Dale kati ya mwingine.
Don't be entitled.
A man is peaceful, a man knows how to talk to a lady.
This November, the Men's Conference brings a cocktail of diverse ladies to weigh in on various matters.
Something I'd love more to see is men being able to exist as themselves.
Tune in every Wednesday at 10 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have always united out of their own volition.
Reduce your madness.
Kenyans are suffering.
Would that be fair to conclude?
I don't want your station to be sued. That Jubilee government has never been able to sponsor any successful project.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. We say disability is not inability.
Our impairment are not disability. Disability is the barriers put across by the society.
Beyond the Limit gives a voice to those abled differently.
People with special needs can undertake a job, particularly that is customer service focused, as good, if not better, than people that are 100% able.
We bring you conversations of these great persons, round table conversations, and many more.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Let's get to more news. And Deputy President William Ruto has continued to drum up support for his bottom-up economic model in Kericho County. While addressing the residents of Kericho County, the DP promised to deliver on the remaining Jubilee projects. Joash Onsare reports.
Just a day after Deputy President William Ruto distanced himself from the 2022 campaigns, stating that he has not yet kicked off his presidential campaigns, today he pitched tent in Kericho County, where he continued to drum up support for his bottom-up economic model.
Kericho chamge! Bwana Yesu asifiwe!
Addressing Kipkelion East and Belgut residents in Kericho County, the Deputy President condemned tribal formations.
You cannot create inclusivity by changing the constitution and creating 2 or 3 positions. You can achieve inclusivity by building a national political party where all communities, all people from all sectors, from all religions, from all races, can feel at home in a national political party.
DP Ruto said he is ready to take the country to the next level by reviving key programs and stalled projects, a strategy he says his competitors do not have.
We have a track record. Our competitors should come with their track record. It is not enough to come with insults. It is not enough to come with mere rhetoric. Kenyans want to know what is your plan and what is your track record.
Leaders who accompanied the deputy president accused ODM leader Raila Odinga of derailing the government's Big Four agenda to achieve what they termed a selfish ambition.
Mr. Kitendawili, the people you ought to stop from being president, William Ruto, kwa majaliwa Mwenyezi Mungu, this is the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya.
We cannot give another chance, not even 1 minute, for Raila Odinga to sit in that seat, because these 4 years he has brought down the government of Kenya to become a very useless government that cannot achieve anything.
Sitataka kukomea wale ambao wanakuja na hii opinion poll ambaye ni fake. Ati wewe sijui wewe unakimbizana na ule mzee wa kitendawili. Wewe ni gari mpya machine. Kama ungekuwa pikipiki wewe ungekuwa boxer. Ile ambayo inakimbia kabisa. Watu wa Kericho jameni, mnakubali tutembee pamoja kwa UDA?
Joash Onsare, TV47.
Elsewhere, ODM leader Raila Odinga is now rooting for intra-Africa trade. Speaking when he presided over the opening of the IGAD conference here in Nairobi, Raila said Africa needs to address challenges bedeviling the continent for trade to thrive. Paul Kirobi reports.
ODM boss Raila Odinga today opened a 3-day IGAD meeting on regional infrastructure, with the ODM boss rooting for inter-Africa trade.
Africa is not the only continent with landlocked countries. I've lived in Europe. You've got countries like the Czech Republic, Switzerland, Hungary, and so all those countries in Central Europe are all landlocked. But they don't feel it. They don't feel it because their goods can find their way to the ports with a lot of ease. So we must actually cut this bureaucratic red tape and senseless spirit of nationalism.
According to the ODM leader, network amongst governments, development partners, investors and other stakeholders can be realized if African leaders up their game.
We must find ways to maximize the synergies among our states and the sub-regional bodies to speed up regional connectivity. This is especially important in the area of financing of regional infrastructure projects, which appears to be a problem.
IGAD Executive Secretary Wona Jebeyehu, who echoed Odinga's sentiments, termed insecurity among African countries as a major challenge affecting some nations, scaring away some investors.
The uncertainty fostered by the ongoing conflict in Ethiopia, the state of governance transition in Sudan, as well as the recent terrorist attack in Uganda, constitute a risk of eroding investor confidence in development programming and threaten to stall or even roll back infrastructural investment and.
Well, elsewhere, One Kenya Alliance principals today held a consultative meeting with members of the Mount Kenya Unity Forum in what is perceived as a formation of new coalition. Mwangi Maina examines that tonight.
Whether the One Kenya Alliance will be dissolved or not will be a matter of wait and see, as OKA principals Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi and Moses Wetangula cast their nets deep to fish for more coalition partners. In a closed-door meeting that lasted for an hour at a Nairobi hotel, the leaders deliberated on working together to deliver a strong coalition that will rival other coalitions and parties ahead of the 2022 general elections.
We came together to explore possibilities of working together. We belong to Kenya, and none of us can do it alone.
The leaders say they will hold more consultative meetings that will chart a way forward for the One Kenya Alliance and the Mount Kenya Unity Forum.
OKA and Mount Kenya Unity Forum have started a journey of moving together, and we have had a very fruitful meeting this morning, and more meetings will follow, and we only can
urge Kenyans to watch this space.
Sources private to the deliberations of the meetings disclosed to TV47 that neither parties will be supporting ODM leader Raila Odinga or Deputy President William Ruto, but will remain independent. In their bid to scale the mountain, OCA has held various meetings in the Mount Kenya region in the counties of Kiambu, Nyeri, Laikipia, Meru and Nyandarua. After the meeting, the leaders visited the home of Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju to condole with him following the demise of his stepmother. Mwangi Maina, TV47, Nairobi.
Elsewhere, the government has issued a red alert over the rise in cases of road accident and fatalities witnessed in the country in the recent past. And as Willie Dennis Njiru now reports, lack of discipline on the road has been attributed to the swelling numbers of fatalities on the road.
Speaking while on an inspection tour of the Mai Mahiu Dukamoja stretch on the Narok Road Tuesday, the government spokesperson Cyrus Oguna allayed fears that fatalities from road traffic accidents this year alone outweigh the corona cases.
Kwa hivyo kwa miezi zaidi ya 18 kwa corona ni watu 5,000 na 100 kitu. Kwa ajali hizi za barabarani kwa miezi 11 watu 4,423.
In 2020, the number of fatalities from road traffic accidents stood at 3,340, a figure that has risen by more than 600 to 4,023 by November this year, with motorcycles leading the pack at 1,508 and 43 drivers.
Tumefanya analysis ya hizo accidents zenye zimetokelezea kwa mwaka mzima. Tumeona tumepoteza wananchi wengi.
Sheria zipo za kutosha na tunazifahamu, lakini tunazipuuza. Tungezingatia hata 20% tu ya hizo sheria, ajali za barabarani zingepungua kwa 20% pia.
Statistics drawing the Mai Mahiu stretch to Dukamoja shopping center as the worst in the country, claiming 53 lives and injuring 103 others, with the latest incident claiming 4 lives.
Zile ajali zimekuwa zikifanyika kwa hii barabara. Tukifanya analysis yetu, tunaona most of them zinakuwa led by human errors.
Human errors, speed, poor calculations while overtaking have been blamed for the rise in cases, with the highest percentage being inadequate automobile inspection of cars that were on long recess following the corona pandemic.
Wengi ni vile watu walikuwa pengine wameweka hizo magari. Mtu anatoa tu gari hata haijafanywa service. Na kama ilikuwa imesimama na unaenda kwa barabara kwa sababu inaguruma, ile hata hii pengine hiyo mguu imechomeka na jua, unaenda unakuta pothole ama chimo na kunakuwa na tire burst.
The NTSA is however conducting free clinics for all vehicles on Kenyan roads to ascertain roadworthiness and avert further road carnage as the festive season draws closer, in addition to the close down of schools for second-term holidays.
Na tunafanya hivyo kwa sababu tunajua wengi wenu mlikuwa mmeweka tu magari na mnaanza kusimamisha kusipeleka kwa barabara.
Hata tunapojiandaa kwa sababu ya msimu wa Krismasi na pia tunapojiadhari kwa sababu ya matumizi ya barabara.
Tungemuomba tukielekea kwa hii festive season, ikiwa ni wewe unajua ndugu yako, watu wapunguze pombe, sababu ile analysis yote inatuleta ni vitu sisi wenyewe tunaweza zuia.
Reporting for TV47 from Mai Mahiu in Nakuru County, I'm Willie Dennis Njiru.
Entrepreneurs around the country are creatively grinding.
I started with a borrowed phone.
A borrowed phone?
Yeah, that could last 2 hours with charge.
We just have to do quality work for them.
To make their mark in an unpredictable market.
It was now going on a sales venture, looking for stockists door to door.
On the grind, we bring you their stories so you can tell yours. every Monday at 7:30 p.m.
Hello guys, and welcome to Night In with Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu. Joy Irungu.
Heartbreak, pain, and tears have been a major part of Night In Season 1. We thank you for being with us on this journey, and for this upcoming season, we will bring you more empowering stories that not everyone is talking about.
This is the only show where we keep it authentic. We share our lifetime experiences, and you know what? Tell every person that you can turn your pain into power.
Join Joy Irungu on Night In as we take the brave step of sharing.
The road to 2022 is becoming tougher.
Nyuma ya wheelbarrow kuna economic model.
And trickier with each passing day.
Niliwaambia washushe chini bei ya mafuta.
Political aspirants in a dilemma whether to change allegiance or not.
How has Raila and the handshake made Jubilee lose focus?
You've seen Raila Odinga flying military choppers.
Our people have never been called to Uhuru Park to unite. They have always united out of their own volition.
Reduce your madness.
Kenyans are suffering.
Would it be fair to conclude?
I don't want your station to be sued. That Jubilee government has never been able to sponsor any successful project.
Every Monday at 9:30 p.m., Pundits Night brings you inclusive and candid conversations with the pundits. We say disability is not inability.
Our impairment are not disability. Disability is the barriers put across by the society.
Beyond the Limit gives a voice to those abled differently.
People with special needs can undertake a job, particularly that is customer service focused, as good, if not better, than people that are 100% abled.
We bring you conversations of these great persons, round table conversations, and many more. Every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Tasty. 100 anything you want kabisa, like you do not need to add anything.
Yes. So the first thing you need as a beekeeper is a beehive.
Yes. Even though I know I won't read it as hard because then I'll be getting the time.
You can handle it. But if you want us to reduce, we can reduce it.
Wake up feeling fresh every morning and knowing that there is a morning show that's got you covered. It's the morning show built just for you. From local headlines, a comprehensive debate, entertainment, and so much more. I'm always thrilled joining you every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on TV47, the home of untold stories.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with Kenya's fastest growing television. Let's get to more news. And Kaptesek residents in Baringo County today took to the streets to protest over what they term as land grabbing in the area. The residents claim a private developer has fenced off a section of the road, paralyzing transport in the area. Lavin Atieno reports.
Transport was paralyzed for the better part of the day as residents barricaded the Eldama Ravine-Nakuru highway in a move aimed at ensuring the local authorities intervene and help them get back their road. Addressing the press, Jackson Langat, the man who claims the road sits on his land, remained adamant that the road is his piece of land despite complaints by residents.
Nimefunga shamba yangu, sijafunga barabara. Nikashikwa na kupelekwa kotini. Tukaenda kufanya kesi na machifu.
nikawashinda. Ukitaka mrembo kwangu unapata mmesikiliza na mrembo yangu, si mpaka utakuja kuniongelesha. Sasa wenye wanataka wakuja tuongee.
Residents maintain the road has been in use for more than 4 decades and the land where the road sits belongs to no one. They now want government to give them back their road as most of them depend on it.
Mimi nimezaliwa 1978 na nimepita hii barabara mpaka leo nikiwa na miaka 43.
Kisaliwa hii barabara imekuwa. Sasa wenye wametufungia barabara, tunaomba tu serikali watufungulie barabara because hii barabara inatumiwa na watoto wa shule, mashosho. Hata mama akitaka kujifungua sasa atapitia wapi ili afike hospitali aende ajifungue.
The Deputy Commissioner for Eldama Ravine, Omar Ali, urged residents to be patient as they find a solution to the problem. Lavin Atieno, TV47.
Moving on, the multi-agency forum formed by the government to provide a roadmap for stakeholders ahead of the next year's polls has adopted a work plan proposed by the Technical Working Committee. During a meeting at the Kenya School of Government on Tuesday, Chief Justice Martha Koome said the forum will meet again on the 30th of November to review and adopt the amended budget. The meeting was also attended by Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i. The forum rejected the budgetary proposals for further review by the technical team.
The forum has, however, requested the technical working group to further review the budgetary proposals so that there is proper harmonization. There are some items that could have been provided for in the current budget, and there are some items which were left out. The special meeting, which will be held next week, will guide on the formulation of an action plan. And what I need to emphasize is that when we get the action plan, we will disperse to our various institutions for purposes of implementation.
Elsewhere, Kenya Maritime Authority has started the first session of public participation on the proposed maritime laws through Amendment Bill of 2021 and merchant shipping, which involves maritime transport operation and regulations. The amendments, which were proposed in collaboration with the Kenya law reforms, will play a big role in the maritime industry, including the Blue Economy Initiative once implemented.
The need to have a reviewed regulatory framework for addressing the governance issues that would take in the blue economy initiatives that we have in the country, even administering our regulatory functions on maritime safety, marine pollution control, plus many other aspects of the industry, but also in the transport logistics. How do we get into the industry as Kenyans? And then how do we bring orderliness that can help in the availability of the services, that can help in their efficient delivery of those services from the private sector, from the government agencies dealing with the cargo clearance issues, plus affordability. To what extent can they be made affordable and competitive so that they can grow the economy?
So many things has changed in the world of shipping, especially for seafarers. So we are also trying to introduce the new regulations, MLC regulations, which are going to protect the seafarers' rights, so that they have decent working environment on board the ship that they are serving. So we are introducing such amendments in the Merchant Shipping Act, to address the issues of seafarers. To introduce a bill on the liability of, the vessel owner to be held liable. So we are trying to introduce financial liability. So in case a vessel is stranded in port like this one is abandoned by the owner, the insurance can be able to pay.
Let's get to business news. And the international market is facing shortage of quality Arabica coffee following drought and frost being experienced in Brazil, which is the main black coffee supplier globally. Kenyan coffee farmers are expecting good coffee prices since the main competitor in the international market, Brazil, is experiencing drought and frost that has led to the low coffee production.
This year, Brazil had a drought followed by a frost. And what we are realizing is that the total world production of coffee will be 158 million million bags of coffee, while the demand is at 172 million bags of coffee, which means there will be a shortfall of about 13 million bags.
Now, the Credit Bank of Kenya has launched a women-based product dubbed Elevate Her, which is a program designed to unlock the potential of women entrepreneurs in the country. The program aims to equip women with business skills, which will also mentor them and expose them to networks, provide them with access to capital, and equip them with the tools they need to succeed in business.
Her time to soar is now. A round of applause.
We were able to unravel specific barriers to financing faced by most women-owned and run SMEs. From these findings, therefore, we dedicated our time and resources to design a package aimed at truly helping to elevate a woman. By elevating her business, firms, or enterprise, and by enabling her to market her products and services.
Well, from business news, let's get to the world of sports. Dennis Otieno is with us. Good evening, Dennis. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, good evening to you, to Abubakar Abdullahi. Now, there is an impasse between the Sports Ministry and the Football Kenya Federation. Tonight, we shall be telling you about the negative impact that standoff between the two authoritative bodies of football in the country have on football in Kenya. We shall also be telling you about a CAF D coaching course that started today, courtesy of FKF. Now, this and more coming up. And it's time for the sports news with me, Dennis Otieno. Now, let's start off with matters football. And Gor Mahia's CAF Confederation Cup playoff match against Congo Brazzaville's AS Otoho is in limbo following the standoff pitting the Sports Ministry and Football Kenya Federation. Now, despite flying to being ready for Sunday's first leg away to Congo, Gor Mahia are unsure of hosting the return leg in Nairobi on December 5th after FKF wrote to Africa's football governing body CAF, citing inability to plan for the tie, owing to government interference, among them being locked out of their Kandanda House offices. Tusker FC faces a similar predicament, awaiting further instructions over the first leg CAF Champions League tie against CS Safsin, which they are expected to host this Sunday at the Nyayo National Stadium. Now, the fate of the standoff is, however, expected to be established this Wednesday, following a court order issued to the Sports Ministry to charge FKF of the alleged graft within 7 days, failure to which Mwendwa shall be reinstated in office.
There's a stage.
You can imagine the kind of negative impact that has had on the state of football in the country. Of course, Tusker FC are supposed to be playing this weekend at the Nyayo National Stadium. The competition is the CAF Champions League. But we can only hope that we're going to find a solution with the authorities within football in the country. But Football Kenya Federation earlier today continued its campaign of upgrading the state of football in the country after collaborating with the Buruburu Sports Academy to launch the CAF D coaching course that will see over 40 grassroots coaches benefit from the program. Speaking during the launch of the course, FKF Nairobi East Secretary General Dixon Doyo noted that the course intends to equip the coaches with the necessary skills to disseminate football knowledge to grassroots talent that will in turn raise Kenya's standards of football. FIFA and FKF instructors George Mwangi and Zedekiah Otieno will oversee the course that is expected to last for 10 days.
Very important.